truth.
Okay, now the moment of truth. Taste test. Hey everyone, it's John. Thank you for being with me on this video. We're doing something a little different tonight. I'm contemplating about dessert. So I kind of harangued my wife into making one of my favorite desserts. Tonight, we're gonna be making, or she's gonna be making, flan. So here we go, guys. I think everyone's met Michelle.
Hi.
We got everything set up, or she has everything set up. So I'm gonna let her take over and let you guys know what the process is. I know I mentioned earlier that I prefer her flan from any others that I've tasted, Filipino style, right? There's also the Spanish style. How she makes it is more towards the Spanish style of flan, where it's much lighter. It's not as dense. Yeah, it's more airy than a typical Filipino flan that I've tasted from others who made them. But I'll let her explain the process of how she achieves this. So, Michelle, take it away.
Okay, so first of all, this is not my recipe. I got this from one of my relatives, my auntie Susan Soriano. I've seen other variations wherein they would add cream cheese or condensed milk.
Cream cheese?
I've seen that, and I haven't tasted those, but you know, I'm just sticking to her simple recipe, and that's what has worked for me, and you know, that's what other people like. So let's get the caramel going, because that takes it takes a while, and you'd want that to cool before you actually put all the liquid in. So what I did was I just covered the pan with sugar. I didn't measure it, just make sure you just have enough sugar. You would just add a little bit of water.
So what is that, like a quarter cup almost? More or less? No?
Not even.
Even less?
Less. And
some sugar.
Sugar and just water, just that simple. And you'd want to bring that to a boil. So make sure you watch it, because I've burned it before. You don't want to do that because it will be really bitter or mapait. So as soon as that boils, we'll just put it to low fire or sim. So while that's cooking, we'll go ahead and mix all the ingredients. So the basic recipe calls for 6 eggs, a cup of sugar, a can of evaporated milk, and then a few drops of pure vanilla extract, and also the yellow food coloring, which I'll explain why I do that later. So obviously if you want more, then you would just double everything. So with this recipe, I don't use all egg yolks. I know other recipes call for that, but because I want it to be lighter, what I would do is I would take half of it, egg yolks, half the whole eggs. So we'll do the egg yolks first. So obviously if you have 6 eggs, then half of it would be 3. So 3 pure egg yolks. So we'll do that.
Oh, did you preheat the oven?
I did. So I hear the caramel actually boiling behind me. So you don't want to put that in low fire so it doesn't burn. The egg whites, you can just use it later on for omelet or whatever else. And we'll put that aside. We'll eat that. And this one we'll just use all the whole egg. There you go. Now you're just gonna beat the eggs. That's it for that. Next I'll just add the 1 cup sugar. Then next we'll just add the evaporated milk. Mix this all until you know all the sugar is kind of dissolved. Okay, so next we'll add the vanilla. It's just for smell, really, just to, as you're baking it, you smell really, really good. So you don't have to add this, but I do. And if you do use vanilla, make sure it's the pure one, not the imitation one. Don't skimp on vanilla, please.
So I have a question. Have you ever used the real vanilla beans?
I have. So I did try it, but those are really expensive and it takes a while because you still have to scrape it from the actual, what do you call that, the pod?
Yeah.
Right? And then to make it work.
So this is quicker.
So this is quicker, but just make sure you use pure vanilla, not the imitation one. So I don't measure that, but just put a few drops in there. And then the next thing that I do, the last step really to this mixture, is to put yellow food coloring, just to make it more yellow once it comes out of the oven. And also because I didn't use pure egg yolks, it wouldn't be as yellow as the other flans that you're used to. So to mask that, that's why I use the food coloring. So it's also just a few drops. You'll see the difference once. I think I put 3 drops in the mixture and see how yellow it has already. So I think this is ready. We're just gonna wait for the caramel to cook and also cool. So you know it's almost done when the syrup turns light brown to a darker brown. So this one is actually, you just want to swirl it around. I think that's good. So after you turn it off, again, you don't want it to be too brown because that will be too bitter. You can turn it off and just let it cool and actually harden before you put in the mixture that we did earlier. So before you put the liquid mixture into the pan, we're gonna strain it. But because we used egg yolks plus the whole eggs, you'll notice that when you eggs, right, they have those solid parts on the egg white. So you don't want that in your flan. So we'll strain it. And then you can actually show once you strain it out. That's it. So next is we're just gonna put it in the oven. So when I was preheating, I already put a pan in there with water. So that's what bain marie is. We'll set the timer for about an hour or so, and we'll check it in a little bit. Okay, so now it's ready. We're just gonna let it cool and put it in the refrigerator, and we'll try it tomorrow.
The next day.
Okay.
Yes, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
I'm biased, it's my.
Okay. My turn. Gummies? No. Actually, it's not that sweet. But there's sugar in it, so it is sweet.
But it's not.
Especially with the caramel, right?
But it's not as sweet as the ones I've tasted.
No.
Like the other ones are.
And what's good is that you can control kind of the sweetness.
So I know the recipes that use condensed milk. That's really.
Oh yeah. No. None of that.
You can tell.
And the condensed milk also makes it hard. I mean, to each his own, but this is more of the Spanish style, what you would get at a Spanish restaurant. Also, at Spanish restaurants, it's not as sweet as we're Filipinos. We love sweet food. So, thank you, Michelle, for making your famous flan, and I hope you guys enjoyed that, as I am enjoying the flan, eating it. So, guys, thank you for hanging out with us at in the kitchen. I hope you got something out of this, and you learned that very simple technique of making flan. This is John and Michelle in the kitchen. Thank you again. We'll see you soon on another video. Peace. We're out.